Fulup, our Foll thought leader and member of Kantara Initiative, is interoperability in identity systems an issue, and should we be concerned about it?
Yeah, it's more than an issue, it's the beginning of the solution. So as today, unfortunately, it has not been correctly addressed by the market. And the reason is extremely simple, is that people have been focusing on a technical building block. So open standard is mostly responding to technical issues, and no one has done the job to assemble all this framework correctly in order to guarantee interoperability. The main reason for this not to be achieved yet is because it imposed to take the hard decision in meeting, and it's easier to arrive to a conclusion where you leave a lot of options open and leave to the implementers the difficulties of having the system to interoperate.
Of course, all the big companies at least do lip service to things like OpenID. They're all members of the OpenID Federation. Are they actually serious about it?
You know, OpenID is a good example of being just a protocol. So the fact you use OpenID does not mean you can interoperate. Like the fact you use SAML is not enough. In order to interoperate, you have to go much further than that. If we're willing to arrive in the identity space to see what we know today on the phone network, where you can land in any country, switch your phone, type in your PIN code, and be in a position a few seconds later to receive and send code, we have to restrict a lot and to consolidate the profile, the certification process in such a way that we really arrive to a system where identity is a plug-and-play service.
Of course, interoperability like this is a kind of a hairball, and it seems that the big guys like Google or Facebook possibly, or Microsoft, seem very content to hand that hairball to small companies like Janrain and say, you figure it out.
Yeah, you know, that's pretty obvious. You know, those big companies, it is in their interest to build a closed ecosystem where they can control and own as much as possible identity information from a given user. The fact they subcontract to some broker, you know, the interoperability or interconnection, it's just a way for them to pretend they're doing something without really doing it. The real answer, obviously, is if we arrive to an identity system that is equivalent to what we have on GSM or TCP/IP, then the power of the big company are going to decrease. So it's obvious that they're not especially interested in this to happen.
Mm-hmm. What do we have to do moving forward to actually ensure interoperability in the interest of the users?
So the first thing is to build a system where we really listen to what the user wants. So it's as today, most of the committee standardization groups are controlled by the vendor or by the service provider. So it's important to make sure that we reverse that, and that the user requirement is really what is driving all this framework, organization, profile, definition, test requirement. We also have to make that open enough so whoever is willing to check its conformance can do it, which means not only the vendor, but also the people that are ready to use the technology proposed by vendor, which is impossible today.